Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The dust is now settling on Wilder Fury 2, and we start to turn our attention and thoughts to a third fight, which Deontay Wilder has indicated he is taking. He's going to invoke the rematch clause in the contract. A big question for me now is, can Tyson Fury stay motivated to fight Wilder again? And before people leap to answers of yes and start saying, oh, why would you even raise that? There is some points worth considering. Also later in the video, I want to touch on John Fury's recent comments that his son should retire now, because that's well worth mentioning and commenting on as well. So buckle up. Let's go. Okay, so Tyson Fury, he believes he won the first fight. He then goes on to dominate the second. Now there's going to be a third fight in a few months down the line. Consider this. Tyson Fury has made no secret he struggled mentally throughout his career. And more recently, he's been an advocate for mental health issues, raising awareness, etc. But one thing that stuck with me from some statements that he's made previously, and it pertains to this rematch, he's previously said, every major high has always been followed by a major low. And right now he's running on the high. He's getting praise from around the world, not just the boxing community, but globally he's getting praise. He's still riding the crest of the wave from the afterglow of this win over Deontay Wilder. But what about when fans move on to the next big fight, the next big topic, which is going to invariably happen as it always does? What then? How can they manage to keep Fury in the right mindset to avoid another post-Vladimir Klitschko situation, where he went on a tear with drink substances? He was out of the sport for 2.5 years. That was a big win, the biggest of his career to that point, and he couldn't stay motivated and on point to deliver the rematch with a man, in the end, he easily outboxed. This Wilder win, it possibly eclipses that Vladimir Klitschko win due to the circumstances of it. But I'm sure fans will debate it, given Klitschko was a 10-year reigning champion at the time he was dethroned. The circumstances, however, after both wins are different, with Fury receiving a much better reception in the United Kingdom and around the globe after this Wilder win than he got from the Klitschko win. And a lot of fans are right now expressing they would rather see Fury in another fight, Joshua for an undisputed fight, or against the WBC mandatory challenger Dillian Whyte. And those are fights that Fury has talked about in the past, having them on a list of guys he would want to fight if he only has 3 fights left. He has been talking 3 more fights in retirement. Surely Fury is also having some of the same thoughts as fans are. And let's face it, with Fury scaling the WBC mountaintop, it's likely those next challengers of facing a Joshua or a Whyte, they could have been the new challengers to sink his teeth into, stay motivated as a result. Fury has made no secret that he likes working towards goals, and he's already ticked off the Deontay Wilder goal in emphatic fashion. It actually makes you wonder why they agreed to a 2-way rematch clause in the second fight deal. I mean, arguably, Wilder needed Fury more than Fury needed Wilder heading into it. But could a third Wilder fight lead to some motivation issues, complacency, a bit of a malaise of sorts for Fury? It's happened before. So the real issue is, how do they combat it, knowing that it could potentially happen, knowing the signs, the triggers? What can Fury and his wider team do to keep him up for a third fight? Maybe some of Wilder's hilarious statements and excuses in the wake of the loss, maybe that will help to some degree. But clearly there needs to be some sort of strategy or plan in place. And previous confidant Ben Davison, who helped bring him back from 400 pounds to the comeback and was basically with him for every day for a couple of years, he doesn't occupy the same position that he once did for Fury. And Fury has described Davison as a great motivator, a friend, and a voice he could turn to. Does he have someone else, something similar, to rely on now? And another thing, initially there was talk that the rematch had to be done by July 14th, something like that. But now Bob Arum is saying we could push it back, September, October. Question is that a good or a bad thing for Fury? I would have thought the longer that it's pushed out, the bigger the chance that Fury finds it hard to stay focused on a man that he's already faced twice and believes he's beaten twice. Well, the second was pretty emphatic. And the longer Wilder gets to recover, regroup, isn't that theoretically better for Wilder? But I guess that depends on if he can realise that he needs to make tactical and technical changes and perhaps changes to his team overall. But it's certainly an open question if Fury can stay dialed in and motivated, and I hope people don't take me bringing this up the wrong way. We want to see Fury in a good state of mind, in good shape. He's a character that the heavyweight division does need, and he is on his way to becoming the best of his generation if he keeps winning. And that brings me to my next issue. John Fury coming out and saying that his son should retire now, and he's also made a bunch of other comments that Anthony Joshua shouldn't face his son because he'll get beaten and take a beating in the process. I do hope Tyson Fury does ignore the talk of retirement, at least for now, because if Fury and Joshua never happens, fans will be the poorer for it and will never get the answer to that question of who could beat who. It will all just be hypothetical. And let's face it, if Fury fought and beat Joshua, it would be hard to argue against him being the best of the generation at heavyweight with wins over Klitschko, Wilder, and then Joshua. That likely cements ATG status right there. But say Fury does retire. Would he stay retired? Because I could easily see another situation like the one we've just had, a layoff and then a comeback. And while Fury has proved he can do it, get a good win, the equation, it does become harder as he moves deeper into his 30s. And I hope whatever happens, we do see him stay in the division for as long as possible. Win, lose, or draw. And I guess as strange as it might seem, if he did have a loss at some point, that might be the thing that keeps him motivated. But hopefully talk of retirement from John Fury is fleeting, as he clearly does hold some influence over his son. Hopefully at least we would get an Anthony Joshua fight at some point if he can get past Deontay Wilder in the third fight. When that's going to be that third fight, we'll wait and see. But whatever happens, you can guarantee there's unlikely to be a dull moment where Tyson Fury and his career is concerned. Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.